All right, so in this video, what we're going to do is continue with our main menu setup. Okay, in our last menu video, what we did is we set up the header, title, subheader, some buttons, and a bottom bar. Okay, what I'm going to do is make one simple change. I'm going to change the bottom bar to be called the footer. And another thing I'm going to do actually is, instead of just leaving this name trigger, what we want to do is be a little bit more descriptive, because there's going to be lots of triggers, lots of actions. And so we want to make sure that everything that we're looking at, we know exactly what it is when we click on it, right? So what we're going to do is call this start position trigger, or start POS trigger. Okay, and so we can also name this start position action, just like so. And so we know exactly what this does when we read it, without having to actually go into it if we don't need to. Okay, so we can see everything that we need and we can identify it very quickly. All right, nice. All right, so the next thing we want to do is create another panel, which I did. And what we want to do is do the next panel, which is the next button. And that's going to be the load button here. So we're just going to do the load screen. And these screens are going to be pretty simple, because the goal here is not necessarily to build out the menu and all the loading of the game and all the settings, but really how you can switch out your screens as you need. So here we go. So I'm going to rename this panel load screen. Or we can actually call it load menu. Okay. All right. And so what we want to do is decide, what does this menu need? The first thing I'll probably do is go ahead and change the color to black. All right, and let's see, what does this menu need? Well, we need a header, so let's go ahead and give it a load game header. So we'll just go to UI, and you're right, go to panel, and we're just going to go ahead and minimize that. Now, it doesn't have to be centered. You can off center it if you want, so you can do something like this. And so with that, I'm just going to go ahead and select this panel, and I'm going to click this, and I'm going to probably click this button here so it's anchored to the top right. All right, and next thing I'll do is call this the header. And then inside this header, we're just going to go ahead and add the text, and it's going to be the similar process as before. Load game. And I'll make the size like 65, that should be fine. And I'll center this here. And we'll bring this up. Actually, we'll select this and then bring it over and up. All right. And that looks about right. And we want this to be centered middle to this panel. All right, perfect. So now we have a load game header for our load game panel, right? All right, and then we'll need some buttons. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with getting some buttons. The first button we're probably going to want to put is the load button. So you can have as many load buttons you want, and there's no right or wrong way, and everyone's going to create a load screen differently. But to keep it really simple, I'm just going to go ahead and create a panel, and I'm going to have 3 buttons. So let's go ahead and do that. UI, panel, and I got 3 buttons there. and I'll try to center that there. All right. And so within this panel, we're just going to go ahead and call this panel buttons. And I don't want it all uppercased, of course. So I'm going to go back. And then, of course, within here, I'm going to add some buttons. Okay. And so I'm going to get it to generally a size that I want. Now, you have to decide, do you want the buttons to be horizontal or do you want them to be vertical? We can go with horizontal since we did it vertical last time. And I'm just going to go to my panels button. I'm going to go to component group and we're going to do the horizontal layout. Okay, I'm going to do middle, center. Actually, let's see, middle, center. And if I add another button, there we go. Just like so. So it's going to give us 3 different buttons there. All right. And so I think I want these buttons to be a little wider just because. And so what I'm going to do is just delete these 2 buttons and just copy paste them again. All right. And so what I'll do is rename each one of these buttons. Again, I'm going to call this one load 1, 2, and then 3. All right. And of course, I want to name the actual button. And it does seem like it takes a long time, but it's worth it to have it all organized when you're doing these things. And I'll do 3 for this one. All right, great. So we have load 1, load 2, and load 3. Perfect. All right, and we do need a quit button. So we're not going to put the quit button within this here. What we're going to do is do its own panel just for that. So I'm going to right click within there and we're going to do a panel. And let's see, where did my panel go? I'm not sure where the panel went. And I'm gonna delete it. I think I put it in the wrong one. Yeah, I did. All right, so what I'm gonna do is put it in the actual load menu. There we go. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, and so I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna put it right in the center, right below. All right. Now you can put it in, and honestly, you can put it anywhere you want, right? You can put it in the top right corner if you want. But then you want to just make sure that wherever you put it, generally the back button should be consistent with each page or each panel screen that we're going to be calling. So you want it to be kind of, in the same place each time. So back can be wherever you want it to be. So in this case, let's just put it in the top right corner for now, because we know that most UI elements are going to be here, and then we can put a back button here. So let's do that. And then so I'm going to call this panel back. And then in this panel, I'm going to create a button. There we go. And of course, I'm going to name this button back. And then I'm going to name the button back button. All right, cool. And that's it for our load game menu. And we can move on to the next one. So let's continue. So far we have our load game and we have our main menu. Now our main menu has the start position trigger. So I want to go ahead and do that as well. So what I'm going to do is actually just copy and paste that same trigger for this one. And then you want to make sure that you actually change the actual target, right? So we want to make this panel load there, just like so. Okay. And as you can see, that should work. Let's see how it goes. So the reason I've done that, of course, now, if I move this out of the way, now if I hit play right now, we're probably going to see the load game one, but the main menu is there. So if I click on main menu while we're in play mode, that's going to be underneath it. And that's fine for now. But eventually we're going to have most of these menus, if not all of them, except for the main menu, actually set active to off. And so that they'll be actually, when they're called, then they'll be set active and it will all work out. So I'll show you how that works. But for now, that works out pretty good. So since we're done with that one, I'm just going to actually speed this up. So I'm going to copy this actual whole panel here. Copy and paste. And so I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to move it here while I work on it. And I'm just going to make some changes. So first thing I'm going to do is change the name to the settings. And then of course I want to change this font or this particular title to settings. We're going to leave the back button there. Now the settings menu doesn't need this set of buttons, so I'm going to delete that set of buttons. And we're not going to really do a whole lot with the settings, really. So what I'm going to do is simply create some text or some UI elements, I guess you can say, and we can put anything in here. So let's say we want some type of input field or scroll view or scroll bar. Anything can go in here. Slider, for instance, we can do that. So you can do a slider. Maybe the slider is for like volume key or something. And we're not going to actually make that stuff work, but this is just to give you a sense of what's actually going on here. So I'm just going to do that here, and I'm just going to call this volume. Not call him volume. All right. And other text, of course, can go here as well. Graphics, audio, sound, whatever. Whatever you want. Eventually you'll want to do something in this scene, but this is all basically placeholder stuff for the most part, so just keep that in mind. Just something to give us a sense that this is its own page. Graphics, etc. All right, so that's going to be that page. We have a back button. Perfect. And I'm not going to bother naming these simply because this is just temporary stuff. All right. All right. And let's see here. I'm going to go back over here and make sure that this is centered. All right. And another screen we need is going to be the quit screen. All right. So let's go ahead and do that one. And so I'm going to move the settings out of the way. I'm going to move that one over here. Just like so. And almost forgot, you want to go to start position and you want to change that Oh, it's already done. So it already automatically does it for you. But you want to get in the habit of actually checking that just to make sure. So that's good. All right. And so let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is, the idea is when you click on the quit, it should take you to a screen that says, are you sure you want to quit? And then once you hit yes or no, then it will actually quit the game out for you. All right, so that's how we're going to approach that. So let's go ahead and copy this again, and we're going to move that here. Okay. Now, instead of this header being here, what I want to do is actually move the quit one in the center. Right. And I'm going to center that. And then I will go ahead and call this quit. And I'm going to delete these objects here, except for audio. I'm going to use that as additional information. So, are you sure you want to quit? And you have a question mark, and we'll just go ahead and do it like this. All right, nice. And then we're gonna just go ahead and change this name, of course. Quit menu. And under the quit menu, I'm gonna do a new panel. And this panel is gonna be our buttons. Go ahead and move that to the center. And then I'm going to rename it, of course. And then within our panels button, we're going to get two buttons. UI, Text Match Pro. And I'm just going to resize these a little bit. And then I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to go to my panel buttons. I want this to be horizontal. So you already know we want to go to App Component, Horizontal. And we want it to be middle centered. And we can use this. We can go ahead and bring this in closer. Just like so. All right, so are you sure you want to quit? All right, and we're gonna have a yes and a no button. So this button can be the yes button. And we'll just type in the word yes. And then this one will be no. Nope, I do not want to quit the game. All right, so the question is, do you need a back button? And honestly, no, you don't. You can get rid of the back button. There's no need for it because the no button is technically your back button because you don't want to quit. So let's go ahead and just get rid of that. And also, what I want to do, let's see here. We can leave it just like this. That'll work out. All right, so we have our quit, we have the question, and we have a yes or no. All right, and we also want to, of course, do our start position trigger here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to copy it, paste, and move it into my quit menu panel. And I like to put that at the bottom of the respective panels. So it should be at the bottom of each one. That one, that one, that one, and that one. Perfect. All right, we're looking good, guys. We're looking good. All right, so now we have our quit, we have our settings, we have our load game, and our header. All right, let's see here. And again, you want to check this, make sure that's working up. See, so that one says settings, so we just want to make sure it says quit menu. There we go. That's why you check it. And then we'll just double check this one. This one's the settings. This one's load. And this one should be main menu. All right, nice. All right, and we're keeping everything pretty organized here. All right, well, that was it for this video. That was just getting us set up and ready to go. In the next video, we're going to start looking at actually activating these buttons and getting things working, and we're going to be working with the triggers and working with actions and how that all works with Game Creator. So I'll see you guys in the next video.